Audio Jungle.
Man shot dead at St. Tulis River. Police were at a murder scene along a section of the St. Tulis River near the Manchester-Clarendon border, where a man was shot by an assailant on Sunday afternoon. The man's identity has not yet been ascertained, however. A police source said the man is believed to be in his 20s. Preliminary reports are that shortly after 1 p.m., the man, who is said to have been a visitor to the area, was chased and shot by an assailant at the riverside. Residents expressed concern following the incident and say it does reflect the peaceful and quiet community that they are accustomed to. Trafalgar Park resident flooded out twice in a week. A Trafalgar Park resident says she has been devastated after her home was flooded for the second time in just over a week, following heavy rains that lashed the corporate area on Saturday night. Nadine Thompson recalled waking up around midnight to find water rushing through her house. When I got up, I stepped into a pool of water off the bed, she told reporters. Her tenant, who lived in a two-bedroom section of the house, who was forced to flee with her two children after being flooded out again, Harrison said she called the police for help but received no response. The property was among those inundated on September 19 when torrential rain triggered flooding in parts of St. Andrew. At that time, local representatives, including Member of Parliament Julian Robinson and Councillor Jess Clark, visited the area and provided assistance with cleanup. Despite the efforts, Harrison's home was once again overwhelmed by floodwaters. She said she is not uncertain about where she will stay, noting that her closest relative lives in Manchester. I don't know where I'm going to go. Nobody asks me where I'm going. I can't go back in there, she lamented. Robinson, the MP for St. Andrew South Eastern, who again visited the community, confirmed that a blockage in the gully behind the premises is contributing to the repeated flooding. We have identified where the blockage of the gully is, so that blockage can be clear, so that the water can flow freely, and to clean up the backyard and ensure that the residents can go back into their home. This is the first order of business for us at this time, Robinson stated. We will not be dictated to. JCF fans of rights groups, state bodies demanding body camera in plant ops. The Jamaica Constabulary Force says it will not allow external groups to dictate how it deploys body-worn cameras, even as public outrage intensifies over the controversial police killing of 22-year-old Jamar Farquharson in Clarendon earlier this month. Let it be clearly stated, the JCF will not be dictated to by Jamaicans for Justice, the Independent Commission of Investigations, or any other group on matters of operational deployment of body-worn cameras or any other internal operational strategies, the force said in a statement posted on X on Saturday. It is two statements since the September 15 killing of Farquharson. The JCF has not indicated a policy position on whether body-worn cameras will be made mandatory for planned police operations. The force is awaiting the delivery of 1,000 additional units. Indicom has urged that such missions account for the majority of fatal police shootings so far this year, which have spiked over last year. According to the oversight body, 230 fatal shootings have occurred between January 1st and September 25th, a 76% increase compared with the similar period in 2024. Deputy Commissioner of Indicom Hamish Campbell has stated body cameras could have been crucial in Farquharson's case, noting that none of the 23 officers on the raid of the Cherry Tree Lane home wore the devices. A video circulating online shows Farquharson opening a door and raising his hands before police officers entered on a warrant search for a gun. Officers later reported he was shot after allegedly pulling a gun inside his bedroom. The Dr. Kevin Blake-led police force has described the situation as most regrettable, but insisted that facts must be conclusively determined by an independent investigation. Saturday's JCF statement argued that criticism of body-worn cameras rolled out was misleading. Calls from various quarters from the mandatory use of BWCs falsely imply resistance from the JCF. Nothing could be further from the truth. The reality is that we cannot be mandated to use tools that we do not have yet, it stated, adding that logistical and financial constraints remain significant barriers. For several months, we have publicly acknowledged that the force is actively engaged in the procurement of an additional 1,000 body-worn cameras, a process that is lengthy and complex. Yet, rather than recognizing this as an update in the spirit of transparency, some outlets have chosen to reframe this information as a response to public pressure. This is not only inaccurate, but it is also disingenuous. This statement read: the JCF conceded that the number of police fatal shootings was unacceptably high, saying, if we are serious about reducing police involved fatalities, there are three clear options before us. It listed the options: add, reduce operational output to avoid armed confrontation, which it said is not an option for the task force with public safety in the high-risk environment. It said the second option is to appeal to criminal elements to seize the use of deadly force against law enforcement. We call on INDECOM, JFG, and the well-thinking Jamaicans to join us in this appeal. It is dangerous to trivialize our sincerity on this matter. If criminals remain convinced that deadly confrontations will ease them sympathy while police actions are continuously misrepresented, the cycle of violence will persist, the force noted. The third option, according to JCF, is to investigate each fatal encounter thoroughly and hold members accountable if found to have been acting unlawfully. The police said, we fully support that option. The JCF argued that the third point assumes that many police shootings are unjustified, despite the overwhelming majority of INDECOM's investigations ending with officers being cleared of wrongdoing. The JCF supports every lawful investigation. We remain committed to accountability, transparency, and justice. This is the mature posture of a force committed to modernization, not a force resisting change. We invite all stakeholders to engage with the facts, appreciate the complexity of operational policing in Jamaica, and collaborate meaningfully in the national interest, the statement added. The JCF also stressed the limited deployment of body-worn cameras is not due to lack of will or reluctance on their part of the JCF. Rather, it reflects the logistical and financial realities of equipping over 8,000 frontline personnel. The JCF neither controlled the procurement process nor the allocation of the government's financial resources. Meanwhile, rights groups such as JFG and Stand Up for Jamaica and the Office of the Public Defender, a state body, had echoed INDECOM's calls for cameras to be mandated on planned raids. St. Anne woman 81 missing since Saturday. Police in St. Anne are seeking the public's help to locate 81-year-old Rebecca Turner of Windsor Heights, who has been missing since Saturday. Turner, who is of brown complexion and slim build, was last seen about 9:30 a.m., leaving home dressed in a black dress and blue slippers, a police statement read. It said efforts to find her have so far been unsuccessful. Anyone with information on her whereabouts is being asked to contact the St. Anne's Bay Police at 876-972-2211, the police emergency number 119, or the nearest police station. Portmore man nabbed inside church, charged with sacrilege, police stated. A 39-year-old man is facing charge of sacrilege after he was allegedly caught inside a church moments after breaking in and stealing items valued at over $175,000. Detectives assigned to the St. Catharines South Police Division have charged 39-year-old Robert Barnett, otherwise called Mogo, of North Edgewater Avenue, Portmore. The incident happened about 11:30 p.m. on September 13 at a church on Cecil Avenue, Edgewater, a police statement read. Police allege that Barnett first opened a sliding door, entered the sacrilege, and removed a bag containing $3,000 and a Samsung keyboard valued at $175,000. However, a security system was triggered, and guards from a private security company responded to the alert, found him inside the building. He was subsequently handed over to the police in Portmore. Barnett was charged on Saturday. To subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.